Joe's Inner Child Podcast.
Welcome back. Today we speak with our friend, voice actress, and writer, Julie Nathanson. We talk about her experiences doing a lot of voiceover work for games like Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and her work on Star Wars Vader Immortal, as well as Guildlings, and tons of other projects. We always have a great time with Julie, so you'll definitely enjoy.
Literary Joe's Inner Child Podcast.
I like your Ray poster.
Thank you.
It's very cool.
Thank you very much.
It's from The Force Awakens. I can totally tell that. I love Ray.
Yes, I love Ray as well.
Do you connect to her in like a certain way?
I do connect to her in a certain way. I do. I appreciate, no spoilers. I appreciate, identifying more with the light side of one's power, but being able to access and having to make a choice between that and the darker side. And I also, I think her curiosity is also something I've connected with. But yeah, I like Ray very much.
Me too. That's a good answer.
Speaking of universes, you've voiced in DC and Marvel, which we've talked about before. I'm curious if there's one of those universes that you feel more comfortable in, or that your fangirling kind of makes you want to be a part of more.
It's the same annoying answer. I know that. That's why I say, I'm sorry, it sounds like a cop-out, because I think there is a curiosity people have, what do you secretly really love the most, right? And that doesn't come up for me with DC and Marvel. And I can tell you I have favorite movies, live action and otherwise, on in both buckets. I partially took about 100, mostly women, to see the Wonder Woman movie when it first came out, because I love it, and a friend of mine and I thought, let's gather our forces, and that was incredible. And I've also been extremely involved in my own passion and love for many of the Marvel movies and experiences, and I've voiced Crimson Widow and on Avengers Assemble. So I think being able to play in both universes has been really fun for me. And again, it's never lost on me how lucky I am to be able to do this. The fact that you are asking the question, hey, you've worked in both, which do you enjoy more? And I don't know, I just feel incredibly grateful and lucky that that I've done both or can do both,
Yeah, I totally get it. I totally understand what you mean. Even as I guess if you were to ask me oh, did you like this guest more than this other guest? Which of these guests? And it's I don't just talk to him. So I guess I totally understand what you mean. Right. Say that. You did mention that you have a lot of other game projects coming up. So I wasn't sure what all you wanted us to touch on. Well, what else do you have in the works?
Well, that sort of, as you know, brings me to my nightmare scenario of saying the wrong thing. So I do tend to stick with whatever has been announced and whatever has launched. I would say, the two most recent and significant being Call of Duty, Black Ops, Cold War Zombies, and Bugsnax. But I have some additional voices in the Miles Morales Spider-Man game that just came out. If you ask me what I played, I cannot remember. I don't know, but it was fun. It is an odd thing to I'm aware of what I'm omitting from this conversation. I am well aware of what I'm not sharing right now, but I kind of just can't. So, lots of fun things.
No, you're doing good. You're not going to get yelled at by lawyers, so that's always nice.
I do not want to be yelled at by
No,
lawyers.
And you're not. You're not. You're doing great.
Thank you.
10
Thank
points.
you.
Your bar's going.
Thank you for being here for me in my time.
Always. I'm here for you.
Did you do additional voices in the first Spider-Man?
Yes.
I thought so. That's what I was going to ask.
I did several different sessions for several different voices. One was a professor who was in costume at the Halloween party, so she ended up looking like it was actually, a different character, and then it was revealed. It wasn't like a huge part of the game, but it was a fun little moment. And then several different, pedestrians and people along the way. You sort of end up populating these games. And I, of course, I'm happy that Insomniac wanted me to hang out and play in their sandbox, and they're incredible games to be a part of. They're really stunning. What they're doing is really, really incredible.
I love the Spider-Man games. They're like my favorite. I know exactly what you're talking about. You're like the doctor and you're like, oh, it's supposed to be, and I'm not going to say anything because I'm trying to be spoiler friendly, but I know exactly what you're talking about. And they are beautiful games. That's awesome. Additional voice acting is interesting. Do you get to make up some of the random words, or is it just all on a sheet?
It depends on what it is. Every so often I'll be brought in to do what would be more considered like walla, which is like really additional, like extra additional voices. So it's kind of that background, filling in and really populating maybe a busy street, a party, a gathering, people looking up to see, oh my God, where's Spider-Man? Some of those things, because walla is really filling in crowd sounds, has a more improvisational experience to it. But generally speaking, when I've done additional voices for games, it's they throw a few characters at me. Some of them are more significant than others. It's also been it's wild to go from a game where I go to the session and I'm like, oh, this is such a cool character. I know the character isn't in a lot of the game, but is like, has a personality, has an emotional arc, there's stuff going on, but because it's not a significant role in the game, it moves into additional voices. So I try to write down and remind myself of what characters I've played so I can keep track. But I think there are so many characters in so many of these games that it would be a little bit overwhelming to have every character be named and assume that, players are really going to be paying attention to that. And, it's not like I'm trying to like fill my ego with every name I've ever gotten to play, but I do tend to forget. So when someone's like, what were you in? I'm like, I don't know. Let me see if it's on my contract.
That's hilarious. I know you mentioned that you dabbled in writing, or you do dabble in writing. What do you, what form of writing do you dabble in? Is it for like the projects that you're working on, like voice acting wise? Do you write books? Like what kind of, oh, there's the cat.
I really wanted to, I was listening and your question is very serious and I will pay attention to it, but just for a second, there was a cat basically sitting on your shoulder.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure that it might have gone onto your head, and it was incredibly enjoyable.
You were Kiki from Kiki's Delivery Service. That was you. It was amazing.
Yeah, that was nice. She plays fetch. She plays fetch with a straw. And
really?
Most of them.
He has had a meeting with me, and we paused the meeting so we could watch him play with the cat. She plays fetch. She's better than my dog, who's supposed to play fetch.
This is information I've never had.
I didn't know cats could play fetch. Is she doing it, or is she lazy?
Yeah,
she's doing it? Oh, okay, cool. Come on. She got it.
That cat just got the straw that you threw. Everything is different now.
The world has changed as we know.
Everything is different. I don't know what to say, man. Everything is different.
Cat dog. Sorry.
Cat dog.
Anyway, sorry about your writing before my cat.
Yes. No, the cat. The cat is very important. Yes, I had started out in New York as an on-camera and theater performer, but I also was a playwright. Did some playwriting there, and then when I came out here to Los Angeles, it's a very long story, which I will try to make as short as possible. I thought, let me try writing a screenplay, which I was doing while here for on-camera pilot season. And I tested this is really, I wish everyone could just see this cat.
I
know. Like, absolutely. Like, this is a Zoom bomb.
Oh, they kissed! The cat kissed him.
I cannot with the cuteness right now. It is the cutest thing.
She licks my beard for like 10 minutes straight. She's a sweet girl.
Are you crying too? I just cry when I'm happy, and I'm like, I'm glossy. I don't know if you can tell.
I tend to cry when I'm happy. I'm also like, I got to tell you, Lexi, I'm jealous of the cat's shoes. I mean, those are some beautiful white shoes.
I was thinking that. It's like white Vans on a cat. Like they were just cleaned. Like brand new pair. Flexing.
And a rebel after Labor Day at that. So see where we're going with this. So to answer your question, Joe.
I was checking if I'm wearing white. I'm sorry.
I think that whole thing is ridiculous, but I'll leave that alone. So I was out here for pilot season. I was fortunate and testing, but I was bored. I didn't land anything, but I had all these test deals, and I'm like, let me just see if I can write a screenplay. Wrote a screenplay, left, went back to New York. I was bi-coastal at the time. And my roommate out here gave my screenplay to his agent. And the agent ended up calling me and saying, hey, by the way, we're signing you. We've taken out your script. You have 20 meetings in the next 2 weeks. Get on an airplane. So I got on an airplane, came out here. And so ostensibly, I ended up moving to Los Angeles because of writing opportunities. I did some pitching and I wrote some screenplays, but I ultimately was staffed on an NBC show called Just Deal, which was a half-hour single camera, kind of like a teen show. And I was on it for all 3 seasons, and it was wonderful. Left there, did a little bit of a writing assignment for Disney, and then since then, my writing has kind of moved into kind of working on my own stuff. There is a book I am trying to write. I've continued to be in some playwriting stuff, and I'm just always writing new things. And along the way, I also started writing for games and doing some consultation. So I wrote a lot of the script dialogue for several Disney mobile games. And I also was a writing consultant on Guildlings, which is a really cool indie mobile game that just came out in the past year. And I was also a consultant and really part of collaborating and developing the character of Zoe 3 for the Vader Immortal, Star Wars Vader Immortal VR series. And so I did all of the motion capture for Zoe 3, just the motion capture, not the voice. The voice was Maya Rudolph, that I got to ride around the stage on a hoverboard, which I did not know how to ride until I was offered the job. And that was good. They called and they said, we know you do mocap. We might want to use you for this. Can you ride a hoverboard? And I was like, stand by. Let me get back to you. Went to Best Buy, bought a hoverboard, taught myself to ride, took video of myself on the hoverboard. And I was like, looks like I can. But yeah, back to the writing and consultation stuff. So I ended up doing some consultation for that as well. So the writing has sort of morphed along with kind of whatever I need it to be at the moment. But I still love it.
Nice. Lexi, what other questions did you have? Because I don't want to keep her forever.
I know, true. We shouldn't keep you forever. But I like how layered you are. On camera acting, you teach acting, voice acting, motion cap, writing. What else? Have you directed before? Are you going